Hey everybody, welcome in. Happy Saturday, happy pre-order day for the Adepta Sororitas as well, which is what we're going to talk about today. We have the PDF games, which are very kindly sent me a PDF of all the rules, so we can go through the Codex. Exciting times. There's a few changes, there's a few cool things going on. There's a couple of really nice detachments, which I'm very excited about. I do have some Sisters of Battle, a lot of them, unfortunately, are boxed. They're still boxed. I will get round to them, of course. Some of you may remember the Morven Vow that I did a couple of years ago, which is really nice. I am currently in the process of converting up a new Morven Vow. That one got sold off. So I've reposed her, I've got her bolter out and I've got the sword down. So I need to start painting her up at some point, but I need to decide what colour scheme I need to do my sisters. So if you have a colour scheme ideas, drop them down in the comments below. But this video we're going to talk about the Codex itself. The army rule, straight away, the army rule is exactly the same as it was in the index. You have the miracle dice, which you can then swap in for a dice roll if you would like. So if your army faction is Adepta Sororitas, you gain a miracle dice at the start of each turn, so your turn and your opponent's turn. And each time one of your Sisters of Battle units is killed and destroyed, then you gain a miracle dice as well. So a miracle dice, for those of you who are unaware, you roll a dice, and whatever that dice roll is, so say you roll a 3, you put a dice roll of a 3 in your little pool over to one side, keep some dice over to one side. It's quite nice to have your miracle dice as different coloured dice, so get some shiny clear ones or something. And once per phase, you can then substitute any of those dice rolls in for either an advance roll, a battle shock test, a charge roll, a damage roll, a hit roll, a saving throw, or a wound roll. If you are substituting in for a charge roll usually has 2 dice that you roll. You'll substitute a miracle dice in for 1, and then you'll roll the second one, things like that. So it's quite cool, and it makes Sisters towards the end of the game, turns 2, possibly turn 2, definitely turns 3, 4, and 5, makes them very consistent and very reliable, because you can just go, well, I am definitely hitting because I've got a 3 in my miracle dice pool, or I'm definitely going to wound this, or I'm definitely going to do 6 damage because I've got a 6 in my miracle dice pool. So they're very consistent. Okay, first detachment. The first detachment, Hallowed Martyrs detachment, and the detachment rule for this one is the Blood of Martyrs. Each time a Adepta Sororitas model from your army makes an attack, you can add 1 to the hit roll and wound roll if the model's unit is below starting strength or below half strength, respectively. So if you're below starting strength, then you add 1 to hit, and if you're below half strength, then you can add 1 to wound. Nice and simple. It's not really extravagant or anything, and it's going to be more useful further down the line in the game. So turns 3, 4, 5, maybe turn 2. It's not going to be particularly useful in turn 1, especially if you don't go first. So yeah, it's okay, and nothing particularly exciting about that one. Let's have a look at some enhancements. Saintly example. So Adepta Sororitas model only. When the bearer is destroyed, you gain an additional D3 miracle dice. Suicide, a Dog Martyr is probably the cheapest one. We don't know what the points are yet. But if this is a cheap enhancement, just throw it on a Dog Martyr and suicide a Dog Martyr for 30 points for a Dog Martyr, maybe 10 points for this, 40 points. Would you pay 40 points for D3 miracle dice? Maybe, I don't know. The only issue on that is that you want to try and keep it away from an objective. You don't want to be giving away easy victory points if you're allowing your enemy to kill something on an objective and take an objective, or I mean even kill points. Yeah, it might be useful. Through suffering strength is the next enhancement. Adepta Sororitas model only again, so add 1 to the attack strength and damage characteristics of the bearer's melee weapon. So you're not it's not shooting, you're not adding it to a plasma gun or a plasma pistol or anything. But however, if the bearer has lost 1 or more wounds, you can add 2 to the attack strength and damage. So you could have a jump pack, the new jump pack Canoness rocking around at damage 4 would be quite fun. Chaplet of Sacrifice. Again, Adepta Sororitas model only. At the end of your command phase, you can re-roll 1 miracle dice from your miracle dice pool. It's quite cool. And when doing so, if the bearer's unit is below its starting strength, you can reroll 3. So pick up 3 miracle dice from your pool. Maybe you've got lots of 1s in there. Pick them up, reroll them, and then you put those new rolls in your miracle dice pool. That's quite funky. Mantle of Ophelia. This is Canoness or Palatine model only. Each time attack is allocated to the bearer, change the damage characteristic of that to 1. So you're getting shot by a lasgun or getting shot by a railgun, it's only doing 1 damage. Thank you very much. That's rather interesting. Very defensive, obviously. Can you make an unkillable Canoness? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to have a proper deep dive on that one. Divine Intervention is the first stratagem for these, as this is an epic deed strat. And you can resurrect a character. So you discard up to 1 to 3 miracle dice. And you resurrect a character that's just died, and you roll a d3, adding 1 to the result for each of the miracle dice that you've discarded, and that's how many wounds you get. So if you roll a 3 and you've discarded 3, then you get 6 wounds, as long as that's how many wounds that they've got left. So you can't use this for Celestine. But you can use it for things like the Triumph. That would be quite cool. You can bring a Triumph back for 1 command point. Quite cool. Suffering and Sacrifice. This is a strategic ploy stratagem, and this is in the fight phase, and you pick a infantry or a walker unit, and until the end of the phase, each time an enemy model whose unit is within engagement range, it must select your unit as the target of its attack. So if you can charge a walker in and then a couple of other units which you want to protect a little bit, then you can play this stratagem and force the enemy to hit the walker. That's quite cool. I do like that one. Righteous Vengeance is the next one. Battle Tactics, so you can get this one for free. And it's picking a unit from your army that hasn't fought yet, and until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack, you can re-roll the hit. And if it's below half strength, you can re-roll the wound roll. Yeah, I mean, re-rolling hits was always good. It's only in melee, so you're going to be playing this on not retributors, on I can't get the words out. Repentia? There we go. You can play them on Repentia. There's too many R's. It's like Space Marines have too many I words. So Repentia, you're going to playing this probably on Repentia or Arco-Flagellants. Quite cool. Whether you can get them for the Sacrosanct as well. Anything in the fight phase, 1 command point to reroll hits is always good. Sanctified Immolation is the next one. So this is in any phase, and you're picking a vehicle this time. You don't roll a d6 to determine how many mortal wounds are inflicted by the deadly demise. Instead, mortal wounds are automatically inflicted. So yeah, it's great. Kaboom. 2 command points for Spirit of the Martyr, and this is in the fight phase, and you pick a Sister of the Battle unit from your army, and until the end of the phase, each time a model from your unit is destroyed, if that model has not yet fought, you can fight. So fight on death for 2 command points, Spirit of the Martyr. This is going to be probably going to be for something like Repentia or Arco-Flagellants. You could probably get away with it for things like Mortifiers and Penitent Engines as well. Be quite cool. But yeah, fight on death. And the final one is Praise the Fallen. Now this is in your opponent's shooting phase, and you can pick 1 Adepta Sororitas unit from your army, and the unit can then shoot back. So as long as you've taken some damage from the attack, then you can shoot back, but you have to shoot the enemy that has shot it. Now, the next detachment is one of my favourite ones. I think this detachment is basically going to steal the headlines. I think this is going to be I don't want to say easy mode, but this is going to be the one that a lot of people are going to veer towards, because I think this is going to be very, very powerful straight out of the box. So think of Canoptek Court for Necrons. That was like the first one that everybody saw. I think this is going to be the one that everybody's going to be kind of veering towards. So expect to see lots of Penitent Host detachments around for a little while for Sisters of Battle until we can kind of really get our teeth into the Codex. Then it might shift. I don't know, but this one is good. I do like this one. I like lots of detachments where you can play around with lots of infantry. I just don't like painting all the infantry. So the detachment rule is desperate for redemption. Now it's quite interesting. You have 3 vows that you can pick from, and they are you pick them at the beginning of the battle round, and they are live for the entire battle round, and then you get to pick again the next turn. But there's only 3, so you're going to be rocking turn 1 without one. You might be rocking turn 4 maybe without one, maybe turn 5. So these are going to be running probably turn 2, turn 3 and turn 4. You might kind of tweak around a little bit. But anyway, so the 3 options. You have the Path of the Penitent, Absolution in Battle, and Death Before Disgrace. So the Path of the Penitent, you add 3 inches to the move characteristic of Penitent engines. Penitent models from your army. Keyword Penitent models. So that's things like Penitent engines, Repentia, Archoflagellants. Interestingly, the Ministorum Priest has Penitent. So if you put the Ministorum Priest in a unit of Battle Sisters, then they become Penitent keywords. So you're adding 3 inches to the move characteristics. So you've got move 10 Archoflagellants. That's quite cool. I like that. So you can always stage up. If you play this on turn 1, you can really push forward and put some pressure on the midfield on this one. Get plenty of Archoflagellants up and stage them up behind some terrain, behind some ruins in the midfield maybe. Really push forward on that. The next one, Absolution of Battle, is each time a unit from your army is selected to fight, if it made a charge move, then until the end of the phase you can add 1 to the attacks and strength of the melee weapons equipped by Penitent models in that unit. +1 attack, +1 strength on the charge. I mean, nobody's going to turn that down. +1 attacks for Archoflagellants is going to be great. +1 strength is going to be brilliant. You end up with strength. You end up with strength 11 modifiers, which is going to be just silly. The Archoflagellants, I think, move to strength 6. I think Archoflagellants move to strength 6. And let me just scroll down and check. I think Archoflagellants go to strength 6 with this. And then the Repentia as well, they move up as well. Let me just quickly find it. It's one of the worst things about PDFs, you have to scroll everywhere. I've been flicking through this as best I can with two copies of the PDF next to each other, so I can have things open at the same time. So Archoflagellants move to strength 6, yes, which is really, really useful and helpful, whereas Repentia move up to strength 7, which is properly great. We're liking that, a little bit of strength 7 for the Repentia. Pushing over that boundary is always quite nice. Strength 5 to 6 is great. Right, so let's get back up to the Penitent Detachment. So the last one is just silly. So it's not silly, it's great. You're going to be wanting this one once like as many of your units are in or going to be in battle as they can. If you are going in combat as you can. If you are going second and you have charged in, and then they've got your opponent has a chance to kind of hit back, then at the beginning of the battle round, then you can pick this one so that you can kind of almost guarantee that you're going to get some hits in melee, which is going to be really useful. So on a 2+, fight on death for every Penitent model in your army. 2+ fight on death. Yeah, I do like this one. This is a really interesting Penitent detachment. I like it because of how the army is going to end up looking as well. So you've got lots of Archoflagellants, lots of Repentia. You could start throwing some Ministorum Priests in some Battle Sisters units, and then they apply to all of this as well, because they will pick up the Penitent keyword. At least I believe that's how it still works. So yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah. Right, so enhancements. Psalm of Righteous Judgment is the first one. and Adepta Sororitas model only. While the bearer is on the battlefield, each time an enemy unit is destroyed by a Penitent unit from your army, you can discard 1 miracle dice and then gain 1 miracle dice, showing a value of 6. So get rid of a 1 from the miracle dice pool, replace it with a 6. Perfect. And this is each time an enemy unit is destroyed, and you just have to have this model on the battlefield somewhere. So you're going to be killing lots of things and replacing 1s with 6s until the cows come home. It's really, really cool. I think that's, depending on points, I think that's going to be a pretty much auto take. It's going to be really, really useful. The Verse of Holy Piety, again, Penitent model only. Once per battle, at the start of the battle round, select 1 vow of atonement, see left, so one of those vows. Until the start of your next battle round, that vow is active for the bearer's unit in addition to the one that's active. So you can double up. So this is... applies for the bearer's unit. So if you can stick this on a Minotaur and Priest, stick the Minotaur and Priest in a unit, then if you are having Fight on Death as the army rule for that turn, then you can also add 3-inch movements to that unit as well. So you can double up on the vows, which is really, really useful. I'm liking these enhancements so far. Refrain of Enduring Faith is the next one. So again, Penitent model only, and it's a 5+ invuln save. So that'll do. We'll have a little bit of fun with that. That'll be good. Catholicism of Divine Penitence is the last enhancement. This is Canoness, Palatine, or Ministorum Priest only. The bearer gains the Penitent keyword. Now, Ministorum Priest already has it. However, during the Declare Battle formation step, can be attached to a Repentia unit. So you can put your Ministorum Priest with Repentia, and you can put your Canoness or your Palatine now with the Penitent keyword with a Repentia squad. So really, really useful. Liking that. Final Redemption is the first of the stratagems, and this is 1 command point. It's an epic deed stratagem. 1 Penitent unit from your army that was destroyed within range of an objective marker you controlled. This is basically sticky. So you've got sticky objectives as long as you already control the objective and a Penitent unit dies. So it's an interesting one. That objective marker remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. So you can have your Penitent. This is almost like one of those stratagems that you're using as a deterrent. So you can put a Penitent unit on your home objective and just sitting there. You don't have to worry about it being out of line of sight or anything. And then 1 command point, you've kind of stickied that objective. I don't know whether I'd ever use it in that sense. I'm trying to think of a situation where you'd use it slightly further upfield, because it doesn't really apply. Doesn't steal victory points off your opponent, because they're even if it's still under your control, maybe if you kill them back, so that would work. If they kill you, if you're on an objective in no man's land, they charge in, they kill you, but you've got Fight on Death on, you kill them back. But you can then play that command point so that then you still hold that objective despite the fact that you've got anything on there. Then the next turn you're going to be scoring that point. So there are certain ways that you could get that. That does sound that's going to be a very, very niche use for that. But yeah, when it pops up, that's going to be a free 5 victory points for you. Basically, 1 command point for 5 victory points. It's going to be good. Purity of Suffering. When your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, and you can pick a Penitent unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks, and they get a Feel No Pain 4+. So really, really good. Straight off, there you go. Thank you very much. I will not take that damage. Thank you. Passion of the Penitent is 1 command point again, and this is in the fight phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a Penitent model in your unit makes a melee attack, successful unmodified hit of a 5+ scores a critical hit. So Archoflagellants have already got sustained, If you stick them next to a Triumph, they've got lethal, so they've got lethal and sustained on a 5+ for 1 command point with a billion attacks at strength, possibly 5, maybe 6, depending on what we've got, if they've charged in. Brilliant, liking that. For 1 command point, that's a cracker. Lash of Guilt, 1 command point. Until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. If your unit is a Penitent Engine, they do not make an advance for it. Instead, until the end of the phase, add 6 to the move characteristic of the models in the unit. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, that one, because it says do not make an advance roll for it. Instead, until the end of the phase, add 6 to the move characteristic of the models in your unit. So, does that mean that they count as advancing? I'm not sure. From the wording, it means that they haven't advanced, they've just moved further, so they can then advance and charge. So for 1 command point, advance and charge. Yeah. I mean, sort of 1 command point, it gives them advance and charge anyway, but it's not. If they're a Penitent Engine, they're not counting as advancing anyway. So maybe they could. I don't know. Interesting. Cool. Anyway, guaranteed 6, guaranteed +6 to a Penitent Engine's move, and then they can charge at the end of that as well. So 1 command point, advance and charge. Boundless Zeal is the next one, and this is 1 command point as well. Your movement phase just after an Adepta Sororitas unit falls back, they can shoot or charge in which a turn in which they fell back. However, if they're a penitent keyword, then they can shoot and charge in a turn in which they fell back. So those penitent engines can fall back, shoot and charge for 1 command point. Devout Fanaticism is the last stratagem in this one, and this is in your opponent's shooting phase, and you pick a penitent engine from your army and you roll a d6. Your unit can be moved that distance in inches up to the result, but it must end the move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. However, when doing so, you can charge, you can move into engagement range. So we know how strong and powerful moving out of sequence is, and for 1 command point, it's really, really good. Yeah, one penitent unit from your army that was selected as the targets of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. So if you're getting shot at, you can move. You can, if you've pushed your unit forward far enough, only 1 model has to finish closer. You can then string it out and maybe stop a charge or block a charge, block a charge coming in. Yeah, it could be quite interesting. The next detachment is Bringers of Flame. You know those multi-melters that are only strength 9? Do you fancy strength 10? Do you fancy a strength 10 multi-melter? So, detachment rule. Ranged weapons from your army have the assault ability. And each time an attack made with one of those weapons targets a unit within 12 inches, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. Now, that's strength 10 multi-melters. Strength 10, is it strength 10 castigator? Where's the castigator quickly? Castigator. Scrolling again forever and ever and ever. The castigator is strength 11 with strength 11 and assault as well. So strength 11 assault. Strength 14 hunter killer missile, strength 15 hunter killer missile, just for shits and giggles. Yeah, this. Yeah, so plus one strength. This also means that your hand flamers are. Hang on, what strength are hand flamers now? Strength hand flamers move from strength 4. Are they 4 at the moment? Zephyrim landing down. So plasma pistol moves to strength 9. Hand flamer moves to strength 5. Inferno pistol is now strength 9. There's a lot of cool stuff. Like, so the hand flamers as well. If you only get this bonus if you're within 12 inches. Well, hand flamers only have a 12-inch range anyway. So you're adding adding strength on that one every time you shoot it. Plasma pistols are only 12-inch range, so you're going to be dropping down and shooting those overcharged at strength 9. Yeah, this is going to be fun. The enhancements for this one. So this one is going to be consistent. It's going to be useful. It's going to be packing a punch. How it works on the battlefield, you're going to have to be very, very aggressive. But the enhancements on here are quite cool as well. So Righteous Rage, Adepta Sororitas model only. Each time the bearer is selected to fight, you must first discard up to 3 miracle dice. For each miracle dice as just discarded, until the end of the phase, you can add 1 to the attack and strength of the melee weapons. So plus 3 strength. And that's each time you fight as well. So as long as you've got loads of miracle dice in there, you can have an absolute boss of a canoness. Yeah, just rocking around. The Manual of Saint Griselda is the next one. Adepta Sororitas model only. At the start of your command phase, you can discard up to 2 miracle dice, then add 1 miracle dice to your miracle dice pool, showing a value equal to the sum of the 2 miracle dice you just discarded. So if you get a 1 and a 5, you can discard both of those for a 6. If you have a 2 and a 3, you can discard both of those and replace it with a 5. So it's a good way of getting higher dice rolls if you've not got very many good rolls in your miracle dice. It is a enhancement though. It's a beginning of your command phase. I would imagine you wanting more miracle dice rather than just. Yeah, I think especially with the Triumph as well, just kind of being able to swap something in. I think it's probably going to be better to have more miracle dice than swapping them down. But yeah, either or. So Fire and Fury is the next one. Adepta Sororitas model only. While the bearer is leading a unit, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of torrent weapons equipped by models in the unit, and all other ranged weapons equipped by models in the unit have sustained hits 1. So you can give this one to the new Canoness with a jump pack, stick her in a unit of Sephirim, and rock around there with D6 plus 1 strength, D6 plus 1 strength 5 flamers. Yeah, it could be quite funky. Iron Surplus of Saint Istelela is a Canoness or Palatine model only. The bearer has a save characteristic of 2+, and a Feel No Pain 5+ ability. So again, we have a little bit more of a defensive Canoness rocking around. Shield of Aversion is the next one. So this is a stratagem and it's a battle tactic, so you can get this one for free with your Canoness. 1 Adepta Sororitas unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks, and until the end of the phase, you worsen the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So it's Armor of Contempt for Sisters of Battle. That's cool. We always like Armor of Contempt. Righteous Blows, also battle tactic, so you can also get this one for free. Until the end of the phase, you get lethal hits. If 1 or more enemy models are destroyed, then they have to make a battle shock test. Also quite cool. Liking that, lethal hits with battle shock. And this is in the fight phase, so you're going to be wanting to play this one with something that's got as many attacks as you can with the lethal hits. So you can dropping this on Repentia, dropping this on Arco-Flagellants, anything like that to try and make the most of the lethal hits. Carry Forth the Faithful is the next one. This is a strategic ploy stratagem. Until the end of the turn, you can re-roll advance rolls made for your transport, and units can disembark from your transport even though it advanced. Units can do so, count having a normal move, and cannot declare a charge this turn. So this one, if you've got, where are we? If you've got a Rhino is movement 12, so you are moving 12, you are advancing 6, you are getting out 3, so that is 21 inches, plus the range of the weapons as well. If you want to try and get that plus one strength, you want to be 12 inches on that one, so that's 24, 33 inch threat range, for a unit of Retributors in a Rhino, because you're moving the Rhino. Rhino moves 12 inches, gets out, advances 6, gets out 3. You've then got 12-inch range to get the +1. You get the strength 10, strength 9 multi-melters. So strength 10 multi-melters. Sorry, yeah, strength 10 multi-melters. So got some kind of threat on that one. Whether you're going to be wanting to do that with a Rhino, you're probably more interested in doing that with a Immolator, so that then you can get the flaming as well. And you can't charge, so it's not like you're dropping out. Does it say you can just have 1 unit? And units can disembark, so you can put 2 units of Retributors in a Rhino, or you can put 1 unit of Retributors in an Immolator and then charge the Immolator forward. So it's either or there one for that. You can get 2 units. I mean, if you really want to like push the envelope, and you put 2 units of Retributors all with multi-melters in a Rhino, move that forward 12 inches plus the 6 plus your 3-inch disembark, and then you're getting 8 shots from the 8 multi-melter shots, all at strength 10 in the first turn if you wanted to. That could be quite oppressive. Cleansing Flames. So battle tactic stratagem again. So this is another free one, and this is in your shooting phase. Anything with torrent weapons have devastating wounds. Easy idea with this one. Easy kind of pop out one. You could either do it for Retributors, but Retributors with heavy flamers, you're probably going to be wanting to take in multi-melters in this detachment. So this is probably a little bit more for the Seraphim with the hand flamers, dropping down with +1 strength 5 hand flamers with +1 to the dice roll as well, so they're d6 +1, and now they've got devastating wounds as well. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So roll your d6 +1 for all the attacks, and then fish for 6s for the devastating wounds. Rites of Fire is the next one. So this is in your shooting phase as well. 1 Adepta Sororitas unit from your army that has disembarked from a transport this turn. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a range attack that targets a unit within 12 inches and is also within range of an objective marker, you can add 1 to the wound roll. So not only are you adding 1 to the strength for your detachment rule, you're now adding 1 to the wound roll as well. And then if they take some damage from that, then you force them to take a battle shock test. So if you haven't wiped them off the objective marker, then they're taking a battle shock test. If they fail that, then they're obviously not holding the objective either. So kind of funky. Nice little... I like how they're writing the stratagems now to kind of give you just a little bit of an extra bump as well. So you get this, but also if this stratagem works, then they also have to take a battle shock test. Something else also happens. I like it. Just a little nudge. Blazing Ire. So your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy has shot, and 1 Adeptus Sororitas transport unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacks. The unit that is inside the transport can disembark and shoot back. I like that. I like that. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. So you're staging up a Rhino with some Retributors in it or something. Staging it up, maybe baiting the enemy to come around a flank a little bit so that you can pick them off, and they shoot your transport. You can get out and shoot them back. This again, it's probably one of those stratagems which is a bit more of a deterrent. So as your opponent is moving around the flank to maybe take a shot at the transport or thinking about it, this is one of those stratagems that you can say, oh, by the way, for 1 command point, if you do shoot at that Rhino, I can get all my models out and shoot back at you. And this is also they're disembarking, so you can disembark tactically, try and block off some areas, take objectives and things like that. Could be quite cool. I like that one. Okay, this is my favourite one. Army of Faith is the next detachment. Now this is the one that I want. 60 Zephyrim and Sephirim. just flying around the battlefield. I think this is awesome. I think this could also be the detachment which is a little bit of a late bloomer. I think the longer the Codex is out, I think this one might just kind of just nudge up and try and catch the Penitent engine one out a little bit. I think it has a lot of play. I think there's a lot of precision that you can do with it. And I think there's going to be a lot of move blocking and a lot of power with the Sephirim and the Zephyrim and the auras which they can kind of throw around as well. It's quite cool. So the detachment rule. Now, you already get this in the Sisters of Battle Codex. So the Triumph of St. Catherine allows, within the 6 inches, units to do 2 acts of faith a turn. So this is what this detachment rule does. So each Adepta Sororitas unit from your army can perform 2 acts of faith per phase instead of just 1. So you can now drop in 2 dice if you need to. So if you really need to hit or really need to wound, or you can really need to do like 12 damage to something if you want to, you can take two dice out in that phase to force something. Now, does this mean that the Triumph is still going to be useful? It's still going to be good in the game, but being able to have everything doing this anyway might mean that this detachment is not going to need the Triumph. I think, well, I think it's obvious. If any of the detachments isn't going to need a Triumph, it's this one. This is the one where everything in the army is able to use the 2 acts of faith. And then obviously the Triumph, it opens up being able to use some of the other enhancements that it gives, some of the auras that it gives. You can always have the lethal hits in there. You can maybe play around with some of the other things that it's done. So this one, I think, opens up some army building options, and it's going to be interesting. This is going to be the first detachment that I'm going to write an army for anyway, and see what a 2,000 point army of faith looks like. And then maybe I will lean that way and see what I can do. I am going to need a lot of Sephirim and Seraphim. I think I've got 10 at the moment. I need another 50. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the enhancements. Litanies of Faith is the first enhancement. This is Canoness or Palatine model only. At the start of your command phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, take a leadership test. Test is passed, you gain a miracle dice. Now, because you're using lots of miracle dice on this one, or you have the capability of using lots of miracle dice, you want as many ways of getting miracle dice as you can. So I think auto take on this one. You want, and a lot of these enhancements give you miracle dice as well. So I think take all of them and get as many miracle dice as you can rolling around. Is this one going to be an MSU style army where you're just like throwing MSU units and trying to get miracle dice when they die? I'm not sure. I quite like the idea of lots of Zephyrim and Seraphim, so I think you'd definitely be taking 6 units of those, so 3 and 3. Whether they're larger units or smaller units is yet to be seen when we're building the list. Maybe I'll do another video if you're all interested on writing that first list and seeing what I can do with it. So Blade of St. Eleanor. This is improve the strength and armor penetration characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons by 1, and you also gain precision. So strength and AP, that's going to push some of the bearer's units around. Canoness with a jump pack then goes to it's armor penetration and strength, isn't it? So armor penetration and strength. So you're going the Eviscerator, the Canoness on the jump pack, goes from strength 6 to strength 7, and armor penetration 2 to armor penetration 3. So that's kind of cool. It's only 3 attacks on that, but if you give the Hallowed, the Hallowed is 5 attacks, and then that moves up to strength 6 at AP 3 as well. It's only damage 2, but 5 attacks at AP 3 is nothing to be sniffed at, particularly when you've got precision. So drop this on a jump pack Canoness, get her out there, and she can almost scalpel and just remove a character from your enemy's army. And then, in addition, each time the bearer fights, if 1 or more enemy models is destroyed by those attacks, you gain a miracle die. So another way of getting miracle dice back, and things die all the time in 40k. So throwing a halberd bearing a blade of Saint Eleanor halberd on a jump pack canoness with 5 attacks at strength 6 -3 2 damage, they're going to be killing something, so you're going to be getting the miracle dice back every time she's fighting, so that's going to be great. Divine Aspect is the next one. Adepta Sororitas model only. In your movement phase, you can select one unit within 12 inches of the bearer, must take a battle shock test. If the test has failed, you gain a miracle dice. Again, brilliant. And you're forcing battle shock tests, so trying to pick a unit which you don't want the opponent to have the ability to put stratagems on, target that, force them to take a battle shock test. If they fail it, brilliant, you get a miracle dice, and they can't have stratagems being thrown at them as well for this turn. Perfect. And then the triptych of the Macarian Crusade is the last enhancement in here, and it's an Adepta Sororitas model only again. Each time the bearer uses an act of faith to substitute a saving throw, that saving throw is successful, irrespective of the value of the miracle dice used. Now this is useful. You could probably make quite a tanky canoness out of this. Throw a canoness in there and just pick up those horrible dice rolls of 1 that you roll for your miracle dice. You can pick those up and use those to ultimately pass a save. I don't think it's going to be as useful as any of the other 3 where you're getting the miracle dice. It would have been really nice if there was a way of, I don't know, there's a way of getting a miracle dice back for that, but I don't know. That's beside the point. Right, anyway, let's move on from that, because that was my mind going somewhere which wasn't relevant. Shield of Faith. Let's go on to the stratagems. Shield of Faith. Until the end of the phase, models in your unit have Feel No Pain 5+. Now, this is a great stratagem, and a lot of the stratagems have this target specific wording as well. So you target an Adepta Sororitas unit that has suffered a mortal wound, or a friendly Adepta Sororitas jump pack unit within 3 inches of it. So this is why this army is going to be really fun to play. Everything is based around 3 inches of your jump pack unit. So you want a unit over here, jump pack unit within 3. String it out within the next side, the edge of the jump pack unit within 3 inches. You want another unit, and then within 3 inches of that unit, you want another Adepta Sororitas unit. So you want your jump pack units being like spread out and almost spider webbing out into and touching all your other units, because until the end of the phase, models in that unit that you've picked have a 5+ Feel No Pain. However, if you targeted an Adepta Sororitas jump pack unit, so Battle Sister unit takes a mortal wound, jump pack unit is within 3, you can pick that jump pack unit instead of the main unit, and then everything within 3 inches of that jump pack unit now has a Feel No Pain 5+ ability against mortal wounds. So rather than picking a unit individually, you can target a jump pack unit nearby, and then they have a big aura. So you can buff this up crazy. So if you're going against something that's throwing out mortal wounds everywhere in the psychic phase, or the psychic shooting, you can really kind of get a nice big aura of protection against that. Light of the Emperor is the next one, and you pick a Adepta Sororitas unit, and until the end of the turn, your unit is blessed. While the unit is blessed, it can ignore any or all modifiers to weapon skill, ballistic skill, any roll or test that it's made, excluding modifiers for to saving throws, weapon skill, ballistic skill, characteristics, weapons equipped by models. There we go. And if the unit you've picked has a jump pack keyword, until the end of the turn, while a friendly Adepta Sororitas unit is within 3 inches of your unit, that unit is blessed as well. So if you're picking Seraphim so that they can shoot or fight with no penalty to their ballistic skill or weapon skill, then they create this aura of not being able to be affected either. So again, jump pack unit, Seraphim, Zephyrim in the middle, Retributors on one side, Retributors on the other side. 1 command point, everything within there is now hitting on a 3+ guarantee, because It's just what happens. Yeah, great. Really, really good. Can't modify your ballistic skill. Faith and Fury is the next one. One before that as well. The Light of the Emperor is a battle tactic as well. So you can have that on 2 Adepta Sororitas jump pack units. So you can cover your entire board with, I am always hitting on my ballistic skill. You cannot modify. I cannot hit worse than whatever my ballistic skill is. So, yeah, battle tactics. So you can get that for free. 1 unit, pay for 1 unit, get it for free in the second unit. Brilliant. Faith and Fury is the next one. This is in your fight phase. 1 Adepta Sororitas unit from your army that has not been selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, melee weapons have lance. Brilliant. However, if 1 or more enemy models is destroyed as a result of your unit's attacks, you gain a miracle dice. Now, this doesn't say anything about jump packs, so you could give your lance ability to Repentia. So you could have Strength 6 Repentia with +1 to wound. Yeah, I really like this. I really like this this detachment. It's really, really cool. Blinding Radiance is the next one. And this is your opponent's shooting phase or their fight phase. And again, you either pick a unit or you pick a jump pack unit within 3 inches of a unit that has been attacked. Again, you want to try and get all these nice and close together so that this is always applying to things. So it's just before a unit has been attacked, you either pick that unit or you pick a Sororitas jump pack unit nearby, and then you get an aura, and the aura is -1 to hit. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. So yeah, if you're being shot at, I mean, this is one I think you're going to play this one pretty much every turn if you can, depending on lines of sight and things. You can leave a unit a little bit more vulnerable, put a Sororitas jump pack unit nearby, string that out to another unit, and then if either of those units are shot, you can ping this one. Now both of them are -1 to hit. Brilliant. Great for tanks. String a jump pack unit back to a tank. If the tank gets shot at, -1 to hit because the jump pack unit's nearby, and you can string it forward to something up at the front as well. So you could have your Arco-Flagellants or your Repentia up at the front, and then everything from front to back of your battle line is now -1 to hit. I mean, just kind of keep expanding that out. Brilliant, brilliant. This is why I also think that units of 10 Sephirim and Seraphim are going to be really, really useful, because you can really spiderweb out units of 10 would be quite cool. Right, Divine Guidance is the next one. 1 Adepta Sororitas unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight. Until the end of the phase, each time a model makes an attack, you can improve the armor penetration by 1. However, if 1 or more models are destroyed, you gain a miracle dice. So you are paying command points just to gain miracle dice to then use again with your units in your turn. You can use 2 miracle dice per phase. So if you really, really, really need to punch through one particular flank or one particular unit, you can use all these miracle dice that you are gaining. And then the last one, Angelic Descent. Pick an Adepta Sororitas jump pack unit. As long as it's not in combat, put it back into Deep Strike. Brilliant. Bouncing Adepta Sororitas Seraphim, or Zephyrim, of course. Love it. Absolutely brilliant. I think I'd be using this one every single turn as well. Like, why would you not? It's so much fun. I've done Grey Knights. I love the bouncing ability in Grey Knights. The Necron way of doing it with the Hypercrypt. It's one of my favourite ways to play Necrons. Just have units bouncing around all over the place. It's fantastic. So much fun. Yeah, Angelic Descent for the Scissors of Battle as well. Now, I think I'm trying not to be like led with my heart with this one. This is easily my favourite detachment because of how I think the army would look on the battlefield with all the jump pack units around. I think it would look amazing. Whether it is as strong as I can see in my head, whether it plays out like that on the battlefield, I don't know. I need to get lots of Sephirim and find out. But I really, really like that one. I really like that one. Yeah, really cool. I need to crack on and get my colour scheme sorted. I've tried. I've tried gold, I've tried kind of white, I've tried pale, I've tried ivory, I've tried 2 different reds, I've tried a silver. I'm trying to find like a really nice colour scheme which I like. I will pin it down, and then the first model I'm going to paint is going to be my Morven Val, which is nicely converted and ready to go. Okay, so next let's have a quick flick through, and we're just going to go through some of the rules on the data sheets. Okay, Morven Val. Morven Val's had a little bit of a change. So Morven Val, Paragon Missile Launcher is strength 9, so it would be strength 10 if you take that nice detachment. It's D6 damage, -2. It's the Lance of Illumination as well. We've got 5 attacks at strength 8, and we've got 10 attacks at strength 5. It's -2, 3 damage, and -1, 1 damage. But her abilities... So while this model is leading a unit, each time the unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit and you can re-roll the wound. So if you stick her in a unit of Paragon Warsuits, you can re-roll hits and wounds. I still think it would be awesome if she could join Battle Sisters. Just lead from the front, stick her in a unit of Battle Sisters. Actually, I think you can keep going. Stick her in a unit of Sacrosancts as well. Like, they should just extend the amount of units that some of these models can go into, I think. But Righteous Repugnance is rather cool. So Righteous Repugnance, you can discard a miracle dice every time you shoot or fight. And when you do so, you add 3 to the attacks characteristics of the Fidelis and the Lance of Illumination. So the Fidelis is her heavy bolter, which is really, really cool. And the Lance of Illumination, obviously, is her lance. So you can, for 1 miracle dice, you can add 3 to the attacks characteristics of either of them. So that takes the Fidelis, which has already got sustained hits 1, which is pretty much +1 to hit, takes it to 6 attacks, hitting on 2s at strength 6, -1, and damage 2. Of course, that will be strength 7 if you're within 12 inches on that detachment. And then the Lance of Illumination on the sweep attack, it takes you to 13 attacks at 5/1/1, and the strike takes you to 8 attacks at strength 8, -2, 3 damage. And then, just in case that wasn't enough, if you do kill anything, so each time an enemy unit is destroyed by this model, you gain a miracle dice. There you go. Just have a miracle dice back. So it's great. It's really, really cool. Use her to clean up units. Use her to just like pop miracle dice. You can almost recycle miracle dice with this, so you can take a 1 out of your miracle dice pool, drop it into her Fidelis, so she can shoot the Fidelis with 6 shots, and then you can get the miracle dice back if she kills anything. Yeah, really, really cool. I love that model. I'm very excited to get mine done. I just need to nail down the color scheme for her, and yeah. So Celestine, nice as well. I've got a converted Celestine, which I also need to finish. She's got a flaming sword rather than just a sword with some roses falling off it, and she's got a bit of a cooler pose, charging forward. She still comes back to life on a 2+. So roll a d6 the first time she's gone, and she comes back on a 2+. It has to be out of engagement range, but she does have her full 5 wounds remaining, and you can also bring her Gemini back as well. So very, very cool. The Demonic Fuge, Junith Erudita. I do like Junith. Junith is very, very cool. Junith can join Battle Sisters, and I think you would. She can join Battle Sisters, Sacrosancts, Dominions. Spoilers here, you are going to be taking a unit of Dominions. Retributor Squad and Sisters Novitiates. And her abilities, while this unit is leading a unit, and whenever they are shot at, you can -1. Oh well, whenever an attack, so it's in melee as well. It's -1 to hit. So as she's in a unit, it's -1 to hit. So that's quite cool. Fiery Conviction, though, if this model is on the battlefield at the start of your command phase, you either discard a miracle dice for a command point, or you take a leadership test, and if the test is passed, you gain a command point as well. So also very, very cool. Triumph of St. Catherine still has the 6 relics, and you get to pick 2 of them. So you can either +1 to advance and charge, within 6 inches, so 2 inches to the movement characteristic, and then +1 advance and charge. So if you had that in the Penitent Detachment at the point where you were +3 inch to your movement, you could have 12-inch 12-inch moving Archoflagellants, which could then auto advance and charge 6. So 18-inch plus a 12-inch charge, which you're getting +1 to as well. So yeah, that's a nice little combo. Center of the Sacred Rose, and that is you can reroll Battle Shock tests. And the Simulacrum of the Ebon Chalice is you can take the 2 Acts of Faith per phase instead of only 1. That's a 6-inch aura. The Simulacrum of the Argent Shroud is within 6 inches. You can reroll the wounds of a 1 from shooting. And then the Icon of the Valorous Heart is a Feel No Pain of 6+ within 6 inches. And then the Petals of the Bloody Rose, you are improving the armor penetration by 1. So if you were to take this one in the detachment that gives you the 2 Acts of Faith, you'd probably go. I don't know which one you'd take. I don't know. I don't think Triumph of St. Catherine is as auto take as she was. I don't think she is as auto take. The 2 Acts of Faith is really, really useful. It's only a 6-inch range, but obviously if you position her really well, she'll be great. Yeah. It's interesting. Of course, they do also get, as well, at the start of the battleground, you gain a miracle dice, and it's always a 6. So that's useful. So she'll probably be useful within, depending on her points. She has, however, got 18 wounds now. She's got 18 wounds with a 4-up invuln, 3-up save, 4-up invuln. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if she can fit into a army once you've written the list. The Canoness. Once per battle, she can have a 2-up invuln. She can run a stratagem for 0 command points. And then also, depending on what war gear she has, if she's got a null rod, then the unit has a 4-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds and psychic attacks, which is useful. And if she's got a Rod of Office, the bearer's unit can re-roll hits of 1. So a little bit of leadership in there. Canoness with a jump pack, though. I'm going to be wanting lots of these. I want lots of Canonesses with jump packs. I don't know what weapon to give her, so she can have a Blessed Halberd, a Holy Eviscerator, or a power weapon. The Halberd is 5 attacks at strength 5, and the Holy Eviscerator is 3 attacks at strength 6, but it does have sustained hits. Yeah, the power weapon is 4 attacks at strength 4. Yeah, I don't know which way. I think I'll probably lean towards the Halberd. I think I like the Halberd. That there are ways of getting the pluses to the strength, as you've seen from all the strats and enhancements that you can get. So you can get +1 attack, +1 strength with the Halberd, so you can get 6 attacks at strength 6. Probably alright. The Holy Eviscerator going 4 attacks at strength 7 with the sustained hits as well is also quite interesting. However, once per battle at the start of the fight phase, she can add 3 to her attacks characteristics and have devastating wounds. Yeah, so 6 attacks at strength 6 with devastating wounds. With the Holy Eviscerator, that's got sustained hits as well. You can give her the relic that gives her +1/+1 or +2/+2 if she's damaged. So she could have 8 attacks at strength 8 -2 damage with devastating wounds. I think that's probably, what would the Halberd be? The Halberd would be 9 attacks at strength 6. 9 attacks at strength 6. Yeah. Oh, it's close, isn't it? It's close. It's close. No, it'd be 10 attacks. It would be 10 attacks because if she's taken a wound, she has only got 3 wounds though, so she's not going to be taking too many wounds before she's just not there anymore. She's only got 3 wounds. It's interesting. Right. So the Palatine, however, she's got 4 wounds. The Palatine has got Rapturous Blows, so each time a model in this unit is selected to fight, you can discard a Miracle Dice. If you do until the end of the fight phase, until the end of the fight phase, each time a melee attack made by this model scores a wound, the target of that attack also suffers a mortal wound. Yeah. Yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah, mortal wounds in addition. She's only got 4 attacks though. 4 attacks at strength 4. You can only have a Palatine Blade, so you'll have to give her some enhancements. Oh, excuse me. However, she does give lethal hits to the unit that she's leading, and she can join quite a few units as well. So you can stick her in a Battle Sister squad, Sacrosancts, Dominions, Retributors, or Novitiates. So yeah, weapons do have lethal hits if you have a Palatine in there, which is quite cool. Now, Astrid Thurga and Agatha Dolan. Now, while this unit is leading a unit, and contains Astrid Thurga model, Weapons equipped by models in that unit have devastating wounds. God, seriously, they're so wordy. Anyway, so you can have devastating wounds in your unit of Retributors if you want to. They can join Retributors. This is the Banner Lady, of course. So you can give devastating wounds to your Retributors if you want. While this unit is leading a unit. While this unit is leading a unit and contains Agatha Dolan, each time that unit destroys an enemy unit, you gain a Miracle Dice. And then when Agatha Dolan is destroyed, you gain D3 Miracle Dice, which is quite cool. So I think this unit's a definite option. Okay, the Imagifier. So Litany of Deeds. Each time a Miracle Dice, each time you gain a Miracle Dice as a result of an Adepta Sorority unit or model from your army being destroyed, if that unit was destroyed within 12, you can re-roll that dice. So the Imagifier is making it a little bit more consistent with what your dice rolls are going to be. And while this model is also leading a unit, that unit has a save characteristic of 2+ and a 4+ invuln. Yeah, Imagifier, brilliant. Also, you can put an Imagifier in a Battle Sister squad even if a Canoness or a Palatine or Junith or Astrid Thurga are also in there. So you can double up. So Imagifier can join Sacrosancts, Battle Sister squad, Dominion or Retributors. Throwing an Imagifier into a backfield Retributor squad that is just going to make them there forever with a 2+ save and a 4+ invuln is rather interesting. The Dialogus makes the every time you do an act of faith, you can make it a 6 straight away. So almost like the Eldari Spirit Seer, where you can force the dice roll to be a 6. And then also, once per battle at the start of a phase, you can select a Adepta Sororitas unit that is battle shocked and they're no longer battle shocked. So the Dialogus is interesting. Now, the Ministorum Priest is the character that has the Penitent keyword, which you can put in Battle Sister squads, Dominions, and Sister Novitiates. So you can put him in a Battle Sister squad and then use them in your Penitent detachment, which might be quite interesting. And be able to target them with some of the stratagems maybe. And also, while this model is leading a unit, you can add one to the wound roll as well. So Arco-Flagellants with +1 to wound are going to be kind of grim. And once per battle in the fight phase, this model can just boost his attacks and strength by 3 as well. So Ministorum Priest might be quite interesting to play around with. If this model is attached to a Dominion squad during the Declare Battle Formation test, it gains a Scout 6-inch ability, and if it's attached to a Novitiate squad, then it gains the Infiltrator's ability. So that's quite cool as well. The Hospitaller is Sacred Healing, so you can return a model to a unit at the beginning of your command phase. and if you wish you can first discard a miracle dice, and if you do you can return up to D3+1 destroyed models to the unit instead. So that'll be quite good for a Retributor squad, and again you can join a Hospitaller to a unit, well, you can join it to a Battle Sister squad as if a Canis or a Palatine have already been attached to it, but you can't join it to any of the other squads if a Canis is already in there. It's just a Battle Sister squad. But again, you can throw that in a Retributor squad and you can bring back some multi-melters if they've died. Be quite cool. While this model is leading a unit, that unit also has a 5+ Feel No Pain. Quite good. So yeah, double up with that. Right, so the Battle Sister squad just gives you sticky objectives, which is cool. The Sister Novitiate squad allow you to re-roll the hit roll of a 1. And if the target of that attack is an enemy within range of an objective marker, you can re-roll all your hit rolls. It's kind of the usual buffs and abilities that they're giving. Games Workshop are giving some of the slightly more elite elite units, which is quite good. So if they have a Sacred Banner, though, you can re-roll advance and charge rolls, and the Simulacrum Imperialis at the end of your command phase, for each objective marker you control that has one or more of these units from your army with this ability within range of it, roll a d6. On a 4+, you gain a miracle dice showing a value equal to that result. So Sister Novitiates, if you're within range, so these are going to be great for just sitting on your backfield objective, because if you're within range of that backfield objective on a 4+, you're going to get a miracle dice as well. However, the Dominion squads also do this, and the Dominion squads I think are probably a better version of that squad to put on here. So at the end of your command phase, exactly the same on a d6. If you're holding an objective, you're getting a miracle dice. But once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9, you can then move d6s as well. And then once per battle, after this unit has performed an act of faith, you gain a miracle dice. So you can spend a dice to gain a miracle dice. You gain a miracle dice if they're on objectives which you're controlling on a 4+ at the beginning of your command phase. So Dominion squads, like them, really, really cool. Also as well, Holy Vanguard. So if you if the unit has a leader, then the unit starts the battle embarked in the transport. The leader unit gains a scout 6, so you can scout with a transport as well with them. The Seraphim squad. Seraphims are the ones who are going to be having the hand flamers. Hand flamers 12-inch range. Stick them in the flame detachment. They end up being strength 5 as well, and also you can have them as d6+1. So quite cool. There's a stratagem to make them devastating wounds, so d6+1 with devastating wounds on on a massive unit of Seraphim. Yeah, and in your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, you can also move 6 inches as well. So you can drop down, you can shoot, flame somebody, you can move 6 inches, you can block off things, you can move block, you can surround things. Yeah, really, really cool. You can fire and then fade back behind some terrain so that you're out of line of sight. Very, very cool. Zephyrim. So Seraphim, you can either pick sustained or lethal hits every time you fight. So you can either have sustained hits or lethal hits. So power weapons have 3 attacks. Probably want to go lethal hits with those because they're only strength 4. But the shooting, you only got a bolt pistol anyway, so maybe lethal hits with the bolt pistol as well. But you can advance, you can re-roll advance and charge with the Sacred Banner that you've got in there. Before you make your selection of sustained and lethal hits, by the way, as well, if the unit has made a charge move, you can discard a miracle dice, and if you do until the end of the phase, both of them apply. So if you've charged for a command point for a miracle dice, you get sustained and lethal hits on your power weapons, which is quite cool. Retributors, just awesome. You can only have units of 5 of them now. You can't have the big units of 10 that you used to be able to do. And then use the 5 battle sisters as ablative wounds down to your heavy weapons and then heal them back with a Hospitaller. You can't do that anymore, so only units of 5, which is fine. But twice per battle, after this unit has performed an act of faith, you can gain a miracle die. So that's what the cherubs do. so they don't allow you to fire twice. That you can just use an act of faith and then you can get the miracle dice back. So it's basically a free act of faith. And Storm of Retribution. Each time a model in this unit attacks with a range attack, you can re-roll a wound roll of a 1. And if such an attack targets a unit that has been destroyed, that has destroyed one or more of your friendly units, you can re-roll the whole wound roll. So if somebody's shot and killed your Sister of the Battle unit on that side of the flank, then the Retributors can come up and re-roll all their wounds, which is great, especially when you can get now Strength 10 multi-melters. Really, really cool. Sacrosancts. I still don't quite know what role the Sacrosancts are going to play. They get the 4-up invuln, of course. But while an Adepta Sororitas character is leading the unit, they get -1 to wound against them as well. So they are quite good, but they're only toughness 3 with 1 wound. So they're not going to be like sitting out in the midfield holding an objective like Terminators would or anything. So I'll have to have a play around and see what I think we can do for those. The Repentia are just insane. I love Repentia. I need more Repentia. I don't know how many I've got. I think I've only got 6. So unit of the Repentia, you can have a Repentia Superior in there as well. While this unit contains a Repentia Superior model, then you can re-roll the hit roll and you can re-roll the wound roll. So you're re-rolling hits and wounds with Repentia that have they only have 2 attacks with the Eviscerator, but they do get sustained hits 1. So they're strength 6 at damage 2, but yeah, at -2 armor penetration, you can bump that up to -3 AP. You can get the strength up to strength 7 if you wanted to. Yeah, Repentia and Arco-Flagellants are going to be insane. The Penitent Engines and the Mortifiers are rather funky. You're going to be using them in the... I think you're only really going to be using them in the Penitent Detachment. I don't really like the aesthetic of either of them, really. Yeah, anyway. So the Mortifiers, each time a model in this unit has been destroyed on a 2+, they can fight on death. So the Mortifiers kind of will always get their hits in pretty much. I don't know why it's a 2+. Why just not make it like they can just fight on death? 2+ seems just rolling dice for the sake of rolling dice. Now, Arco-Flagellants are 4 attacks at strength 5, no AP, but obviously you can push that up to higher strength. You can get that up to strength 6. However, they have a trigger word, so you can make them hazardous, and that bumps their attacks up to 6. So 6 attacks at strength 5. Again, 6 attacks at strength 6. They've already got sustained hits. You can give them lethal hits and critical hits on a 5 if you wanted to. Oh, yeah, they're quite cool. Paragon Warsuits. Paragon Warsuits, unit of 3 Paragon Warsuits. They're toughness 7, 4 wounds with a 2-up save, a 4-up invuln, and they can carry a multi-melter. So strength 10 multi-melter. It's only got an 18-inch range anyway, so they're going to be close. 2 shots at strength 10, d6 damage with melter 2. And each time you're shooting a monster or a vehicle, you can add 1 to the hit roll and 1 to the wound roll. So now at strength 10, adding 1 to wound as well. Could be quite cool. Whether they're better than Retributors, I'm not sure. Retributors, you get more shots, but these ones have got a little bit more consistency in terms of their hitting, because they're going to be hitting on a 2. As long as they're shooting a vehicle, of course. Yeah. With Morven Val, you're getting to re-roll everything as well. So a unit with Morven Val is going to be incredibly consistent, particularly in that flaming detachment, which gives them strength 10, the +1 strength. Yeah, Paragon Warsuits. I'm going to have to convert some up and see if I can make them look cooler. They're a little bit top heavy for me, so I need to convert them a little bit. I'll show you. Keep an eye on my Instagram, and I'll put a picture up of Morven Val and see. The idea is to try and get the Paragon Warsuits to look a little bit more like Morven Val. You'll see what I mean when you see the picture. And then you got the Rhino, the Immolator. Immolation Flamers are strength 6, so in the flaming one they will be strength 7. 2d6 shots at -1 AP, ignoring cover. It's always kind of cool. And then you've got the Exorcist. The Exorcist missile launcher is strength 10. That is never really going to get the +1 strength because it's never going to be within 12 inches. So it would be quite cool if it could. Drop it up within 12 inches and get to strength 11. And then that's the same with the Castigator as well. So the Castigator is strength 10, -1 and 3 damage. Yeah, d6 + 3 shots for the battle cannon. I do like the Castigators. The Castigators are great. The auto cannons have got 4 shots at strength 9, -1 and 3 damage as well. Also 48-inch range. Yeah, it's an interesting one. The Castigator auto cannons have got twin linked, whereas the Castigator has got blast and ignores cover, so it makes the Castigator battle cannon effectively AP2. Whether they make them Games Workshop making some of the weapons now so close in abilities and damage that it's legitimately quite difficult to pick which one you would go for on that one. I still think you'd probably go the battle cannon for the ignores cover. You just want to try and get that damage through a little bit more rather than the twin linked trying to get to reroll. I think you want to try and get the damage through a little bit more reliably. Yeah, there we go. That is the Codex. So thank you very much for hanging out and listening to me randomly waffle about everything. I hope you've picked up some tips or some views or some excitement. If I've got you excited about the Codex, that would be great. And I will probably do a little bit of painting on some sisters on some streams over the next few days. So if you want to catch those, they're over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Chris Frossin. So you can find me over there, and do drop over to Instagram or Twitter just at Chris Frossin, and I'll put a picture up of my Morphin Val conversion ready for painting, and see if we can get some colour schemes going for that one. So follow me over on there so you can see that one as well. So until next time, guys, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please tag me and drop any comments down below if you have any thoughts on the Codex as well. So thanks very much, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.